Good afternoon, everyone. We're just going to wait a minute or two to let folks in from the waiting room. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We're going to give it just a little bit longer. We still have some folks coming in from the waiting room. Oh, it looks like we have leveled off. So thank you all for joining us for today's webinar, the moderator and speaker webinar. I am Gail Schwartz with the Housing Alliance of Pennsylvania. I am the Associate Director of Policy and Strategic Initiatives here. I am joined by my coworker, Kina. If you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Glad to see you all here. I'm Tina Minifield. I'm the Policy and Program Coordinator here at the Housing Alliance.
Great. Let me advance the slide. So I just want to start by going over some general conference info. We are having the conference Wednesday, December 1st to Friday, December 3rd. We start at lunchtime and on Wednesday and late morning on Friday. We'll be at the Hershey Lodge in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Room blocks for Wednesday and Thursday have been booked, but we have updated our website with hotels in the surrounding area. So if you haven't booked a room, please do so right away. Of course, the moderator and speaker benefit is no charge for the day you are speaking. All moderators and speakers are asked to register by this Friday, November 5th. So again, we really want to take some time and go over our COVID protocols. An email went out earlier this week, but just in case you didn't see it, we are still continuing to plan an in-person event. If something drastically changes in the next month, of course, we would make the pivot to virtual and refund folks for their conference registration, but I think things seem pretty stable for the moment, so we are very, very optimistic that we will be having an in-person event. We are going to be taking safety protocols at the event, so we strongly recommend that everyone wears a mask. As much as we love to see everyone smile, we are most certainly happy to see smiling eyes and over your fancy Housing Alliance mask, which we are going to be providing to every attendee. We are also going to be making disposable masks available at various stations throughout the conference venue. We're also taking every effort to allow adequate spacing in the rooms for workshops and in the main ballroom for conference plenaries. Again, we don't want a situation where people are going to be, having to crawl all over each other to get to an empty seat. So we really are going to be very intentional about that and take every safety precaution that we can. Our goal for all of you as moderators and speakers, and for those of you who may be doing a little bit of double duty, we just want you to have a successful panel. We want to make sure that all panelists are prepared, presentations are on task and have a good flow, and that you all have a really good productive Q&A and are engaging well with your audience. Some of the duties before the conference is to participate in the planning process to ensure panelists are ready for the conference. We have been setting up planning calls with each of the panels to review time and flow and purpose of the panels. Again, you don't ever have to stop at one planning call. Housing Alliance staff are available to support the planning process, including scheduling additional calls and maintaining email communication with the panel to, just help keep things on track. We know everybody's got a lot going on these days, so we are just here to provide any staffing support that we can to help you all have the best experience that you can. So what can you expect on the day of the conference? For those moderators and, if not the moderator, then a designated speaker, but essentially somebody from the panel should stop by the moderator check-in table. So this will be in the registration area. You're going to be given a packet that includes all of your kind of materials that you're going to need for the workshop, including table tents, information around continuing education for lawyers and social workers, and we'll have a couple of talking points in there that are generally more housekeeping that you can use to help start your conference or start your workshop panel. When you arrive to your presentation workshop room, please put out the table tents for your fellow presenters. We do have volunteers that will be around in case you have any issues, if you're hooking up a computer to a projector, or maybe you grab the wrong packet, or the room is freezing or too hot, whatever it is that comes up at these conferences, we'll have somebody on hand to just help support you in addressing any issues. And then we will have, if you do have any handouts that you are bringing to the conference, just be sure to distribute them prior to the workshop. We should be able to give you an estimate of the room capacity for your workshop. I will say, like Hershey Lodge, the rooms do come in fairly different sizes, so I can't tell you offhand what the room capacity is because it's not uniform, but the staff person that has been working with you in the workshop planning process should be able to access that information to let you know how many copies you should make prior to the workshop if you intend to hand something out. Set up for your workshop. When it comes to PowerPoint presentations, if that's how you chose to structure your panel, we recommend that you combine it into a single file that can be on one person's thumb drive or one person's computer. The hotel, the conference center, the lodge will provide the projector screen, and we'll have the projector as well, but somebody will need to bring their own laptop in the event that you all decide to have a PowerPoint presentation. This laptop should have an HDMI port, so that means that it probably needs to be a PC laptop. I don't believe Apple Macs have an HDMI port, so just making sure that you either have an HDMI port or you have an adapter for HDMI. The room will have limited audio capabilities. Live streaming videos is, just not recommended given the bandwidth capacity. Please let us know in advance if you need any other materials like easel pads or markers if you want to try and do something interactive with the audience. And again, if you have handouts that you want to give out, one, we strongly, encourage you to bring those, but please know that we will not have capacity to print stuff out for you at the conference. So just make sure you remember to bring that stuff with you. During the sessions for the moderators, make sure you introduce your fellow panelists. The moderator does have the responsibility of keeping speakers on task. We really want to make sure that there is time for a really good Q&A. This can happen throughout the presentation, or maybe folks like to save a few minutes at the end. It is up to you and your discretion about how you want to handle the Q&A, but we do want to make sure everybody is making room for that piece. Just remind folks who are attending your session about continuing education forms available at the end of the session. CEU information will be available for social workers at the registration table. We do like to do some session surveys, so that'll be in the packet if you could pass those out as well as collect those. And then, of course, if you could please just return the packets to us, especially if it has completed surveys and table 10s to the moderator table, that when you are done, or if there's a volunteer handy that can run it back to the moderator table on your behalf. After your session, right, again, those surveys, please put them back in the area, bring them back to the registration area, and then after the conference, if you have a PowerPoint presentation, all you have to do is email Kina so that we can to post it online at on our website after the conference, so people are able to access the information. And then, of course, thank you for already given so much to our conference already. In speaking with the team here at the Housing Alliance, I think every single session has had a planning call or has at least one scheduled. So it's just really great that you all are so engaged. Please remember to register by this Friday. Please remember to book your hotel rooms. And for those who volunteered for a volunteer shift, there is going to be a webinar next Wednesday hosted by the lovely Kina. It's not next Wednesday, excuse the typo. It is 2 weeks, November 13th at noon. So with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen so I can start getting to the Q&A. And let's see, stop share. I know folks have a lot of questions. If you have questions about your specific workshop panel and flow, that should be worked out in your individual workshop session. We are recording today's webinar and the PowerPoint, so we will be sending that out to all speakers and panelists and moderators. Oh, it says November 13th is a Saturday. Do I have my dates mixed up?
Yes, it's Wednesday the 17th.
Wednesday the 17th. Sorry about that. So table tents, so I have a question here. Where were the tents that you mentioned? Table tents will be included in the moderator packet that folks will pick up. Yeah, now I'm going to switch over to our chat to see about some of the other questions. So we have so we have a question. Is there a reason vaccination isn't being required? And So we went back and forth about this as an organization, and the Housing Alliance will be in the Hershey Lodge. This is an area that is not requiring or requiring masks or requiring vaccinations. And while the Housing Alliance conference will be in a concentrated area, um, our attendees will not be the only people in in the hotel overall, and the hotel does not have a vaccination policy. So we do just want to be make sure that we're not creating like a false sense that everybody that you may be passing in the hallways or coming into contact is also vaccinated, because there's no way for us to check the other folks that are not attending the conference. So we are really asking folks to, stay masked up. We will, have masks available. Of course, continue to use hand sanitizer. We are going to space people out as much as possible, but there's only so much control we have over the venue itself, and that the venue itself isn't requiring vaccinations. We just thought it was better to align that way. All right. So details on our COVID protocols. We got a question about that. And we sent out information yesterday. You should have received a power mail, and I will definitely resend all of our COVID protocols with this information after today's webinar. So we have a question about laptops. The Housing Alliance is not able to provide laptops. So if folks are organizing a panel that will have a PowerPoint presentation, you do need to discuss with your panel who is going to take point in bringing that laptop. And again, the laptop will need to have an HDMI port. And if it's a venue, or I'm sorry, if it's like a Mac or Apple, or it doesn't have an HDMI port, that you bring in an adapter so it can work with an HDMI cable. So in looking at the number of people in each room, we are really trying to balance capacity and making sure that there's still have a large enough group for the workshops. So what we are really looking to do is reduce room capacity by about half, so that we can make sure that there is adequate spacing And again, encouraging people to stay masked up. We are looking at having microphones in every workshop so that even the folks in the back of the room will be able to hear clearly. I think it's very hard to project when you have a mask on. So we are, again, taking every thoughtful consideration we can to ensure that people have adequate space in the workshop sessions themselves. All right, so that seems to be the last of the questions and the comments. I really appreciate everyone joining the call today, lending your time and your talent and your expertise to our conference. We are very excited to be hosting everyone. We are very excited to see all of you and to hear about the amazing work that you've been doing in the past year. And again, the folks that have been on the planning calls with you are the best people to ask specific questions about your workshop and any other planning details. Any other concerns, questions regarding COVID protocols or logistics, you can always email the Chief Operating Officer, Evelyn Dodds. She is happy to talk through any of your concerns. And with that, and no other questions, I think we are going to call it a webinar, call it a day. So again, thank you all for taking time out of your busy day to check in with us and to hear about our process for the panels. And we will be following up shortly with supplemental information. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.